At the time, my wife and I had recently got a cabin far up north from where we lived. We intended on going up there to get away from things from time to time. The very first time we went up there, we planned on spending the weekend there, arriving on Friday and leaving on Sunday. It took about 4 hours to get there, and it was a pretty nice place. There was a lake surrounded by wilderness with cabins spread out very far away from each other. We really liked how secluded it was from everything else. Once we got there on Friday afternoon, we did some fishing and then went inside to go to bed. The cabin had pretty much just a little kitchen, a living room, a bathroom, and a bedroom. It wasn't that big at all, but had a comfortable amount of space. At about midnight, when we were just starting to fall asleep, we heard a knocking at our front door. I had no clue who could be knocking on the door at this time, or who would even know that we were here. It was very strange, but I decided to get up and go see. I slowly got out of bed and walked out of the bedroom. By the time I was out of the bedroom and into the living room, the knocking got a lot harder and turned into more of a pounding. This alarmed me a little bit more. The way the cabin was, you couldn't really see outside to the front of it unless you were in the kitchen window. Instead of going straight to the door, I decided to go to the window instead based on how violent the knocks were becoming. I slowly tiptoed to the kitchen window. As I did, the knocks grew even louder. By this time, they were so hard, I feared that the door might break. I saw my wife start to come out of the bedroom, and I signaled for her to be quiet. As I looked out the window, all I could see was a large man with his back facing me, pounding on the door. He had to be 6.5 feet tall and weigh at least 250 pounds. He was wearing a hat, and I couldn't get a good look at his face at all. I considered my options of what I could do. I decided to turn on my porch light, hoping that it would scare him off. Looking back, it was probably dumb, but I didn't know what to do. When I turned on the light, the man was unfazed and just kept pounding. I remained sitting on the floor next to the window, just hoping he would go away. Finally, he did. I knew that was the only entrance to the cabin, so I felt relieved. But then, I started to hear pounding coming from the back of the cabin at the wall. My wife and I stayed put in an area where we couldn't be seen. Thankfully, we had shades covering all of our windows. The pounding continued at the rear of the cabin for about 5 minutes and then finally stopped. We sat there waiting for more to start up again somewhere, but it didn't. After about an hour of sitting up and discussing what had just happened, we finally decided to go back to bed. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep that night, and the next morning we went outside and saw that there were marks on our door as well as the wall at the back of our cabin from the man. There were also some plants that had been trampled. We considered leaving and driving back that day, but decided to stay. After another day of fishing and walking through the woods, we saw no one at all, which was nice, and then we went back to the cabin. We had a relaxing night watching a movie and then went to bed once again at about midnight. Then I heard a knocking on the front door again. As soon as I did, my heart sunk. Once again, the knocking slowly grew louder and louder. We decided to just wait it out and hope that the man didn't break the door down. It lasted for roughly 10 minutes, and finally the man left again. I think I got even less sleep that night. The next morning, my wife and I went outside and saw a piece of paper that was on the ground in front of the door. It had the words, "Get out," written on it. We decided to report what had happened to the police, and after filling out a report with them, we drove home. I don't think anything was found, and we decided to sell the cabin and get another one elsewhere. I'm not sure who the man was, or if it was just someone trying to scare us, but we were enjoying our new cabin much more.